All right, guys, what's going on? How's everyone doing today? It is Tuesday, March 24th, 2026, 10 a.m. here in Sydney, Australia. Fight week is upon us. We're already in the thick of it. If you guys are in the Discord, you'll know what I'm talking about. Back and forth, people making their predictions. It's great. Obviously, who doesn't love fight night? But one of my second most favorite part of the week is this part of the week. It's like I call the research phase of fight week. Everybody's looking at their book, seeing what options we have, and asking questions. It's exactly why I started the JSB Insider Discord to create this community. So guys, to become a member, let's get business out of the way first. Click the link that's pinned. It'll be pinned in the chat throughout the entire live stream. I'm going to stay on for at least an hour taking your questions. You can either become a Patreon. We started that in December. We're just surpassed 100 Patreons. And then you can join on YouTube, JSB Insider. Our Discord is approaching 450 VIPs. It's a membership only, so you guys know you're in an exclusive group. Week in and week out, we post our tickets. It's not just boxing, MMA, all pro sports. Click that link that's pinned right there. I'm going to get to your questions. Guys, also, if you are insiders, I've already posted 4 tickets. There are a lot of fights, and there are a lot of fights to choose from. There's a lot of 50-50 fights. And last night when I went to bed, I was kind of stressing out a little bit because there wasn't really 1 or 2 fights that were jumping off the page for me. You guys know how you'll have some weeks like that. There's some weeks you look at the book and you're like, boom, I know what my action is. And then there's other weeks like this one where, for me at least, the first day of seeing the fights, I'm like, I don't know, man, I'm kind of torn. And then I did some like vague research, day 1 sort of research. By day 5, you're already watched film study. You've already, learned about sparring partners and coaching changes. But day 1 is just sort of like a rough draft sort of thing. Today was day 2, and I had some conversations, sent some messages, was involved in our Discord chat, and I had a better understanding of where I wanted to go with my money. And this is generally how it works for me. It's a process. But I got to be honest, man, and I'll bring the books up. Not a lot of fights for me that jumped off the page were like, Johnny, that's take that one. Now there are, though. Once I did some digging and rediscovering about who fighters are, I was like, okay, I like this, I like this. So go to the Patreon, go to the member section on YouTube. There's 4 tickets I posted. It's a mixed long parlay. So it's a money line mixed long parlay with UFC fights and boxing. I've given you my UFC dog of the week. That's up. I've given you my UK double. There's a UK double that I really like. That's live. Moneyline double on that UK card. And then I also have a method of victory prop double sprinkled in there. You guys are going to get more. You guys know how this goes. So I'm going to say what's up to everybody. Rob Lee, it's fight week. You know what time it is. Class is in session, boys. Let's go. The insiders are here, boy. Appreciate all the support. Let's get this money like we always do. Pan Dinero, listen to Pan Dinero, best community in the biz. We keep it, I just like keeping things moving. I like keeping things transparent. We talk through our discussions. We don't always have to agree on everything, and we're definitely disagreeing on some fights this weekend, which is fine. And if you're new to the Discord, I do want to prepare you because we've been on quite the winning streak for months. I'm not saying I'm not trying to curse us, but it wasn't that long ago. I think it was the last time we had a meltdown in the Discord would have been when, I don't even remember. It was sometime in November. But you got to take your losses with your wins. The boys have gotten a lot better. We've grown as a team since then. But there was a fight in November where the whole Discord missed it. And people were bitch. Oh, God, it got ugly. Anyway, those days are long gone. Boss Krista says, hey, Johnny, love your work. As always, I have a question in regards to recommend unit sizes per category. For example, units on safe. Look, Christos, that is going to come down to your bankroll. So what Christos is asking here is, hey, Johnny, how much should I bet on any of these bets, right? So it's really going to come down to what your bankroll is. I genuinely do not want anybody on my channel who expects to get rich off of gambling. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. We have professional bettors in our Discord. So I'm not saying it's not possible. All I'm saying is that is not my messaging. I don't want people to get misinformed thinking that you're going to get rich gambling. Okay. That being said, if you're not having fun with it, don't do it. It's entertainment. We just happen to be gambling on the best sport in the world. Also, you're not going to find us gambling on arm wrestling and pick the number and paper, scissors, rocks. This is boxing. This is boxing, this is fighting, boxing and MMA, right? We do have other sports in the Discord for the other boys, but my bread and butter on here is boxing and MMA. Okay, I got that out the way. It just depends on your bankroll, mate. You know, like what is your average? If you know, I have a friend. His average bet is $1,000. So $1,000 is his unit, but he has 100K to play with. You know what I'm saying? You know, I have a friend whose average bet is $100. So a half unit, if he's betting, hey, well the Cavs win tonight, $100 on the money line. Who's gonna win the Sweet 16? I'll take the dog. Here's $100 bet. That's his unit, right? Now a half unit, just cut that in half. So Christos, whatever you're playing with, if you're a $25 better, if you're a $500 better, I generally, my dogs of the week, which are kind of like, you know, it's one play. You just need one outcome to happen. It is plus money, so they're underdogs for a reason. My philosophy is I generally will go full unit, sometimes double. You know, like it really comes down to a philosophical, personal, better to better sort of thing. Now, when I put the long parlays, you got to understand, guys, the more legs there are on a ticket, the more opportunities you have to lose. Even if on that long parlay there's 10 legs and we piece together, it's all 10 favorites. It's kind of a JSB special. We do it every week. You guys know by now. That's a fun one. I don't go full unit. I generally won't go a full unit on a 10 leg bets for me. Those are like 4 or 5 fights that I really like. And guys, these are all plus money, so you're at least doubling your money. It just comes down to your own strategy, bro. You know, you'll figure that out over time. Keith Thurman by knockout. I don't like that bet. I don't like that bet. I like Seb Fundora. I have this ticket on one ticket. I like Sebastian Fundora to beat Thurman, probably by stoppage. I love it, dude. The chat is heating up, guys. At this stage of the game, you know, you guys wait until after our tickets come through. You know, you guys tipped me yesterday. I'm all cool with that. Whoever won money on my picks last weekend, I already feel you guys already super chatted me, which is fine. Let's get into a system here. From the middle of all fight weeks, your tip should just be liking this video. You know what I'm saying? That's all I ask. You guys are probably already subscribed. I see a lot of you are JSB insiders. Tip me throughout the week by liking the video. You know, that's all I really care about. Just like the video. It helps a lot. It helps us grow. And that's why we're growing. One thing Walsh Conley, Keith is not winning. Okay, so let's talk strategy real quick. King is asking me, how do I think Fundora gets it done this week? I think Fundora gets it done with his volume. When you look at statistically, if we want to play stats instead of playing the physical side of things, because the physical side of things on paper are the most obvious. But statistically, if you're looking at numbers, if you're a numbers guy, Sebastian Fundora throughout his career, you could bring this up, generally averages 70 to 80 punches per round. He's not only this big guy, he's not only this guy with all these physical advantages, he's also a volume puncher. And he wants to swarm you. He's in your face. So you're not only dealing with like a William Zepeda style pressure, you're also dealing with a guy who's 6'6". So I think it's going to be the volume, it's going to be the length, and then it's going to be those physical advantages that is going to get it done. I think he's going to drown Keith Thurman. When Keith Thurman was at his best over a decade ago, and I never thought, look, Keith Thurman is a former world champion. He is. But I hear a lot of chat in my Discord like he's a future Hall of Famer. You guys are smoking dope. Keith Thurman is not a future Hall of Famer. Future Hall of Famers are guys who fought everybody in multiple weight classes. They were super active. They like Thurman battled. He's had more surgeries over the last 7 years than he has fights. He's had 4 documented surgeries on his bicep, his hands. I think he had an elbow surgery. over the last 7 years, 4 or 5 that are just public. He's had 2 fights over 7 years. You mix that with what Keith Thurman was when he was at his best. He was an athletic boxer who had power, who had good reflexes, who was explosive. Never really the most defensively sound. He got away with his defensive flaws because he was so athletic. This is in his mid-20s, his mid to late 20s. He will be 38 in November. We know as men, the last thing to go skill-wise is always our power, right? You mix that, he's never been a one-punch knockout guy. He's never fought at 154. He fought a blown-out lightweight in Brock Jarvis in his only fight scheduled for 154. When you watch that fight, Keith Thurman lost all those things, in my opinion. Keith Thurman's not the same athlete. He'll be 38 in November as he was at 27. He's going to have to use his feet to outmaneuver and outposition Seb Fundora. I just don't see that happening. Seb Fundora could crack. I don't understand why people... there's a lot of fighters like this where the boxing fandom just doesn't think that they see a guy when they were at their worst, and that's who they always are, and that's just wrong. People talk about Seb Fundora when he got stopped against Brian Mendoza, and that's it. That's just the kid he is now. When he was 22, 23, he never evolved. He didn't learn. He didn't grow. He didn't keep fighting. His last fight was he got stopped against Mendoza. That's him, and now he's fighting Keith. That's not what this is, dude. This kid lives in the gym. This kid is leveled up. He is a legit world champion with an aggressive style, who likes to fight in close, who likes to fight in the pocket. I think he overwhelms him. I could see him stopping Keith late. Willie Hutchinson by decision. By the way, let me put an exclamation point on the Hall of Fame thing. Keith Thurman's best wins are a split decision win over Danny Garcia, and then he has a win over Sean Porter. I put DSG in the Hall of Fame, and look, I'm a DSG guy, and a lot of DSG's best wins, not all of them, a lot of his best wins were against guys who weren't, who were kind of on their way out. Is it Eric? Eric wrote, you guys are pressing me here. My point is, Robert Guerrero, the Ghost, you got to be active to be a Hall of Famer. This isn't. We never saw Keith Thurman's prime. Keith Thurman didn't have a prime. It's like the scene Rocky 1 when Mick denied Rocky to coach him against Apollo, and then as fight night is coming and the fight is actually going to take place, Mick is begging Rocky to allow him to coach him. And there's that scene where Rock's like, legs ain't working, legs gone. He goes, Mick, prime? What about my prime, Mick? I ain't have no fucking prime. That scene, dude. Thurman didn't have a prime. You can't be in the Hall of Fame if you don't have a prime. Yeah, it's one of my easy money knockout. What is this? What? That was early days, Oz. Those days are long gone. If you're in the Discord now and you see what we built and you see how far we've come since Ticketgate, you guys should be impressed, man. I'm very proud of our Discord. All it took was getting a couple moderators, silencing the trolls, getting rid of the people who didn't want to be there, and now it's exactly what we wanted. That Discord is a tool. It's why we consistently win week in and week out. One of the most underrated fights of all-time boxers is DSG versus Thurman. Gonna be hard to bet against my guy Thurman, but looks like it'll have to be done. Look, I'm not trying to get you to bet against anybody. Bet with your wallet, not with your heart. Mosby, I'm in shock. I think Brian Mendoza is live against Tellez. Don't forget, he's the only man that been. Yeah, Brian Mendoza's tough. I think the fight probably goes the distance. If I gotta be honest with you, Mosby, if that fight was 12 rounds, I probably would take Mendoza. Mendoza's 32, 33 years old now. He had a fight in Tijuana. Tellez, we saw him get out-conditioned and outworked against Sebastian. Sebastian, man, legit, world champion, dude. And especially in the later rounds, he just faded. He came apart. And then Tellez had another fight against Kendo Castaneda, stopped him. This fight's 10 rounds. I think where the careers are trending, at what, 2 fights ago, what people once thought Yanis Tellez is, I think he's probably still can be. And when Brian Mendoza was at his best, that one punch, when I weigh my options, I think Tejas would be too much for him. Build your bankroll first, and now you have fun. Don't be stressed. Look at that, mate. Look at this. These type of tips. Write that down. Tattoo that. Hang that in a banner in the back. Build your bankroll first. BYBF. I like it. BYBF. What's up, Johnny? You're doing a stats online. Nathan Heaney and Jerome Warburton. I know Heaney's the A side. I fight at a high level, but so rigid, can see him losing. Look, I broke down. I'm definitely not taking Jerome Warburton in this fight. Jerome Warburton, I featured him on my channel a couple fights ago. He fought Kieran Conway. Jerome Warburton is a club level British guy who doesn't punch, doesn't do anything well, doesn't have any gears, but he is his last fight was against a guy who was 12-87, I think. 12-87. Every time Warburton has stepped up, things just don't go his way. He's soft to the body. He doesn't take a punch well. And we're talking about Nathan Heaney. Nathan Heaney beat Denzel Bentley, dude. People rate that, and people were like, "Oh, Denzel Bentley had an off night," but he still beat Denzel Bentley, man. And he could punch a little bit. Don't bet that fight if you don't like that fight. I think that's a steal, by the way. I think Nathan Heaney at $1.71 on the money line against Jerome Warburton is an absolute steal, if you ask me. But that's just me. I actually am playing that fight, so I have Heaney hands. Warburton. I'm never breaking another Warburton fight down. I did it last year against Kieran Conway. I'm not doing it again. But there are Keith Thurman and Fundora is coming out soon today. And then Kevin Newman versus Elijah Garcia. That might be the fight of the weekend. I'm still torn on that fight. I know a lot of the boys, man, are making me second guess Elijah. I'm an Elijah Garcia fan, and I'll say, like, I don't understand. Elijah Garcia is 22 years old. You know what I'm saying? Elijah Garcia is the same kid as, what, a 19-year-old? He knocked out Armando Resendez, who's now a world champion. That was at 160 pounds. His fight's at 168. People talk about the Kyron Davis fight. People talk about the close win, but he should have lost against Terrell Gausha fight. But this is still, what other 22-year-old kid who is fighting at the world level at 160 and 168 pounds? This kid, people think that this kid is special, man. I think he is. His backhand, he's growing into his man body. He, a little boy, when he broke through, when he times that backhand, it's the one he knocked down Armando Resendez with, dude, he can punch, man. And he's always in your face. Kevin Newman hasn't shown me much, man. There's not much on Kevin Newman. Yes, I know he lives in Vegas. Yes, I know he's being under the tutelage of Roy Jones Jr., amateur champion. But at 32 years old, it is now or never for Kevin Newman. It makes for great drama. It makes for a great fight. I think on paper, Newman's a 2-1 dog, which I think is fair. Is Newman live? Yes. Am I going to bet Newman to beat Elijah? I don't know, man. I rate Elijah Garcia. I like the youthfulness. I like the who they've paired him with. Look who they've given this kid to. You don't see that a lot at 160 and 168 in that division. A teenager, 19-year-old, a 20-year-old, a 21-year-old being thrown in there with Olympians, future world champions, this sort of thing. Big punchers. So trying to become rich gambling leads to chasing payouts. Yeah, guys, we are astute. I always talk about this. We are astute. We like to read. We like to write. We like to treat people well. We treat ourselves well. We upskill. We develop ourselves. We develop our mind. We develop our body. There is a right way to do things. There is a right way to do this, and I feel having the proper perspective around what we're actually doing. We research this. This isn't just throwing shit at a wall and hopefully something sticks. We live this. I'm not the only one who coaches boxing. We have pro boxers in here. We have other coaches. We have students of the game. Go into our Discord and see all the tape the boys share. Like, this isn't because people want to get rich. This is for the love of the game. The outcome, though, I feel us winning week in and week out, that is a direct correlation with our efforts. I talk about that all the time, and you could go as philosophical as you want with that. You could never, ever, ever expect a positive outcome anywhere in life without the effort. So if you're just coming to my Discord and you're like, bro, man, I copied your tickets. What the hell? Where are your tickets? I'm like, bro, leave. I said it yesterday on my live stream. If you ever want to undervalue me or offend me, ask me just where, like, deduce me down to just me giving you my picks. That couldn't be a bigger slap in the face without seeing me in real life talking, spitting on me basically. Deduce what I do, deduce the effort that I put in this down to just, hey, where are your picks? It's like, bro, man, come on, have some class. Will you have Gary on this week saying Thurman? Well, I have him on. I don't know. I know I got Tommy coming on. I haven't talked to G. There's so much work to do. I don't know if I have time to have anyone else on. You know what I mean? We are in it. Ituama by decision. That's the sexy bet. After further research, I think Ituama is going to blow Franklin out the water. Never been stopped. I think this is why you bring Franklin in, to show that Ituama is going to stop him. I think Ituama is going to do everything in his powers to stop him. I'm the first guy to stop this dude. Now who's next? This dude wants to be fast tracked. Omar, Patreon boys in the house. This dude's a sharp boy. If you guys are in the Discord, Omar Bradbury's a sharp. Appreciate your support and effort. Julius, Hutch on the money line. Yeah, Julius, man. I think so too. It bothers me that Ezra Taylor is 31 years old with 13 pro fights. Not a lot of pedigree, no amateur background. I think there's once again there's always going to be caution when betting on the Brits. Remember that, boys and girls. Always have caution when betting on the Brits. Their levels tend to show, and sometimes they fight down to their level, sometimes they fight up to the level. On a sneaky double, both of my picks are due to that exact thing. Levels. And I put Hutch, you got to put Hutch either at the world level, fringe world level. Ezra hasn't shown me any of that. Ezra looks the part, and like if you just judged him on the weigh-in, you'd be like, yeah, but he can't really punch. There's just a lot of. Is Hutch a perfect fighter? No. If he doesn't come in prepared, if he looks past Ezra, could he lose? Yeah, I don't think he's gonna look past. He seems like a pretty switched on, sort of determined guy to get big fights. These are great tips. Christos asked the question, guys, about the unit. Bet what you don't mind losing. That's rule. That's the golden rule. Now go full. The things you feel confident. For example, money line. Exactly, guys. And over time, I want everybody to, have their own sort of intuition about it. I don't ever want to talk you out of any of your bets. I'm not here to tell you you're wrong. I'm not even here to debate you. That's not what that's not my channel. Now, will I debate people? Yeah, I like debating, but that's not my purpose. Is to see the boys in our Discord who have a opposite. You guys just go look. If somebody disagrees with me, I'm not trying to talk you out. You'll say, why are you taking him? And I'll tell you why. Am I always right? No, nobody's always right. But it's not like nobody's getting shamed. And I think that's why we're growing as well. You guys know that you could post, you post your feedback, you post your tips, you ask questions. And at this stage of the game, there's nobody in there shaming you for it. I think that's really important. And that shows a sign of intelligence. Intelligence isn't about making people feel inferior. Sometimes it's more about asking questions. Guys, we're 25 minutes in. We're floating between 80 and 100. Tip me by just liking the video. PJ in the house. I give shouts out to PJ all the time. I don't know PJ personally. I know PJ was on the ground floor though of our Discord in August. So he's been through it when we just started. He saw shit get crazy in there. I've watched him learn a lot about boxing and betting. So now, like in certain conversations in the Discord, it's PJ leading the chat about, where he thinks he sees an edge, why he likes his fighter, and that's only in 5 months. Wait till you see his knowledge in another year. So this is my outlook on it. Wait till you see me in another year. Shit, I'm just getting started. Dude, wait till dude, we don't have a season. There are fights every freaking weekend, and I am bought into this. My heels are dug in. I'm just learning the strategies of gambling. It's not like I position myself as an expert gambler. Learning the strategies, the ins and outs, the method of victories, all that stuff is only within the last 7 months. Now, boxing's my shit. You can know boxing. I mean, I know many guys who know the sport in and out, but they're terrible at gambling. These are two different things, boy, and that's what we're doing here. Let's get it. JSB, brother, shout out. High interest, you're my guy. 2 legendary back-to-back weekends. Let's keep printing. Let's keep printing. Get a printer icon. Let's go, Johnny. Great main event coming up. I love the under. We got a lot of fights. We haven't even pulled up the odds yet. That's how crazy the chat's been. Giselle, the longer the parlay, the smaller the unit. Yes. Straight bets are 2-leggers, full legs are even double. Giselle and T.O. Tutu. Great advice. So Christos, if you're still here, big dog, that's it. That it's not bad advice. GK. Keith will control the ring, the pace, and the rhythm of the fight. I'm taking the more solid fighter overall. Fundora with his height is liability to me, betting wise. And this is why this is not an echo chamber. GK has his point. GK and I over months will agree on things. We will disagree on things. And boxing is the thing that always brings us back. These are valid points. I don't even know if I don't even like. I don't know, man. Keith Thurman is such a. Both guys. There's questions on both sides. You know what I mean? There's questions on both sides. Just so you know, I don't have Keith Thurman I don't have the Seb Fundora Thurman fight on a single, like by itself. Right now, I have it as a prop, part of a double. That just goes to show you when you see that, when you're like, whoa, because usually main events or big fights, I'll have like either a money line standalone, a prop standalone. On this one right now, and I'm not saying I'm not going to add more tickets, I have this fight part of the Moses Ituama parlay, and it's a prop parlay. But yeah, there are a lot of unknowns. It really bothers me. Maybe it's because like I'm a strength coach and I'm an athlete and I train and I spar and I know like what I'm also, 40, 43 going on 44. I just ran a 5K before that. I'm very active. I've trained twice today. It's 10:30 a.m. I know what the body feels like, wear and tear, right? And I know what it takes. I never was a world level boxer, but to operate at the highest level, man, just having that 6'6" problem in front of you in a ring by itself is crazy because now you have to figure out range, distance, timing. Thurman, I mean, Thurman's strengths weren't his timing. Thurman was pretty unorthodox, man. His deep, he jumps around, jumps in and out. He has awkward timing, but it's not like Carlos Adames timing, like world class in the pocket, boom, 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 that sort of thing. Thurman got away with a lot of things that if he wasn't as athletic, he wouldn't have got away with. He's just a great athlete. And I'm leaning on the fact that going to be 38 in November, I'm going to round up. I'm leaning on the fact that the 38-year-old, no, he's 37. All that stuff's gone. Rewatch I was at the Brock Jarvis fight. Brock Jarvis stood there like a heavy bag. Thurman's legs in rounds 1 and 2, they didn't look, I don't know, man. I think all that's gone. I mean, is Seb just going to stand there like this? Seb is going to be that. And we're going to see, I think, here's what I'm predicting. I think we're going to see a very hesitant Keith Thurman. That's going to sound crazy. He averages 50 to 55 punches a round normally. Seb on paper averages 70 to 80 per round. I think we're going to see a hesitant, gun-shy Keith Thurman because it's in pulling the trigger that as we get older, that it's those reflexes that sort of fade and deteriorate. It's like you want to do it, but your brain won't let you do it. Being out of the ring for that long, that extended period of time, being inactive for a decade, never being an active fighter, more surgeries than fights in 7 years, elbow surgery, bicep tendon tear, hand surgery. I think when he gets in the ring with a 6'6" guy like Seb, who's super aggressive, punches hard, I think we're gonna see. I think he's gonna learn today. What did what's the little homie? Kevin. Damn, I'm so detached from pop culture. What did Kevin Hart say? My dad used to come to my spelling bees thinking that it was an athletic event. My dad was so pissed that I was doing like science fairs and not playing sports. He'd come to my spelling bee with a jogging pants on with no drawers. And I'd be up trying to spell a word. He's cutting through people, dick hitting people. They gonna learn today. They gonna learn about some dick today, boy. We getting wild. Getting wild, boy. We're only 30 minutes in. It's crazy. Are you possibly doing a stream for UFC again? And you think Izzy gets it done? Yeah, I'm going to do. So, guys, second live stream on Thursdays is for UFC only. So just keep that in mind. And I'll make a, I'll plan it. I'll schedule it in like I always do. You guys like to be organized. I like to be organized. It'll be booked in. So to answer your question, yes. Can Izzy get it done against Pfeiffer? I hope so, man. Like, but we know what Pfeiffer's gonna. I mean, will Izzy be able to keep it on the feet? How much does Izzy want to be there? Does he want to be fighting? Because if he doesn't want to be fighting, he's getting stopped. I don't know. I don't have these questions. I don't have these answers. GK, his ring generalship like Zoo did in the beginning of round one, making the taller fighter look smaller by countering his looping shots with rapid punches and awkward angles. It's a lot that has to take place. Big parlays chiming in. Fundora stoppage. Beginning of fight one, no distance. This is a nice prop. Might as well do it. Let's see it. Might as well do it now, boys. I don't know if I don't know if props are up yet, though, guys. They're gonna learn today. They're gonna learn about the dick today, boy. There was a time, mate, wherever we went in the world, when that comedy special came out, you didn't even have to know people. It was kind of like when Chappelle's show dropped in like 2004, 2005. Wherever you were in the world, and a lot of people, but you could what? Okay, everybody just said that, and that's the same thing with the Kevin Hart special. Everywhere, shit, they gonna learn today, boy. They gonna learn about some dick today, boy. So fight not to go the distance. Will the fight go the distance? Yes. Plus 125. Will the fight go the distance? No. I think we found our prop of the week. Salute to our fellow local JSB insider sniper, Julius. This is going to be my prop of the week. I'll post this. Look, I'm going to add that to something else because we can't just give props that aren't at plus money. But I do like the $1.60. Fight to not go the distance. And then maybe we'll find maybe we could pair that with like the Ituama fight. We'll get into it. Thurman, yeah. You crazy. Thurman getting Boots next. Are you smoking dope? Boots is probably going to be fighting Xander Zayas. Keith Thurman wants to get paid, man. There's no way he wants to fight Boots. If anything, to be honest with you, Keith Thurman versus Josh Kelly might be a fun matchup. Because like the danger of I would still dig PBK though. Look, Thurman is not who you guys think he is, man. I don't understand the Thurman love. Sorry. And I don't understand the Seb Fundora hate. I don't understand, dude. A 6'6" southpaw who's an aggressive puncher who likes fighting, and then like the boxing purist, he doesn't use his height, he doesn't use his range. And if he did use his height and range, those same boxing purists would say he fights on the outside? Why doesn't he fight on the inside? And when he does fight on the inside, he doesn't use his height. What, dude? You can't make everybody happy. In a perfect world, I would want my 6'6" junior middleweight to fight on the inside. Sorry, and that's exactly what Seb does. And the southpaw angling style. He's so tall and long that he doesn't need active feet. Simple angles will force a guy who's 5'7", 5'8" to have to use his feet. Meanwhile, over a prolonged fight, getting tapped with that lead hand, rip into the body. Thurman, if he doesn't get onside, if he doesn't get inside and lands, he's getting stopped. Yeah, people act. I never, and I said this in our Discord, maybe because I left America in 2013, but even when I left America in 2013, I thought, I mean, the DSG fight, Danny Swift Garcia, that was a split decision. My boy Sean Porter could have, that maybe was his fight. People are talking about Keith Thurman as a Hall of Famer. When? Because he beat Robert Guerrero? When Guerrero was what, 35? What are we talking about? I don't know. Am I underselling Keith Thurman? It didn't look good coming to Sydney to fight Brock Jarvis, who's a lightweight, who got stopped at 140 against Paro and made him fight at 54. And going in the third, it was 1-1, by the way. It was a tied fight going into the third. He wasn't looking like, it wasn't that great, dude. But guys, I do want to mention, because the chat is torn on Thurman and Fundora. These fight weeks are the best fight weeks. We don't have to agree. It's just fun to be able to have some contrasted opinion. Because last week we were all on the same page. You know, the week there's been a lot of these favored matchups. But every now and then you'll get a Brandon Figueroa. How fun was Brandon Figueroa and Nick Ball fight week? How fun was Murtazawa versus Josh Kelly fight week? You know what I'm saying? These fight weeks. Fundora versus these are fun fight weeks because we get to go back and forth. We get to revisit our theories. You know, depending on how young or how old you are, you either sell in or sell out or flip-flop to your theories. But boots are dug in. You start thinking about other ways of victory. You start researching a bit more. Your money's already betted. You've already put your money up. So you're trying to find angles to prove to yourself that you're going to be right. You start sending text messages and DMs on Instagram to sparring partners. You start all this shit. Well, that's at least what I do. It's fucking crazy. Who is Fundora? Fundora is a defending world champion at 154 pounds. He defended his belt against Tim Tszyu, the ghost of Tim Tszyu. That sounds like a punk rock album. That sounds like an emo record by like the Killers, the ghost of Tim Tszyu. Coming out of my cage and I've been doing just fine. Cordell Booker. Why are you hating on Cordell Booker? Do your research, man. Cordell Booker has pedigree to him. Don't have to be impressive to you. But you guys have to understand, too, that here's something that we should talk about, is that Fundora is a guy still that I feel isn't at his ceiling. Fundora is a guy who is learning on the job, evolving in front of us, similar to Elijah Garcia, growing in front of us, young, green, so skilled that they're fast-tracked, and, losing a fight early isn't the worst thing. This version of Fundora at 29, I totally expect to see another level. You're seeing him meaner and meaner in there. You're seeing him willing to... People act like it's a bad thing that he's willing to exchange in the pocket. This is freaking boxing, dude. This is... So, and on the other side, Keith Thurman's not evolving. Keith Thurman, he's not adding levels at 37, 38 years old. So, I think the ghost of Tim Tszyu, when Fundora stops Keith Thurman, GK, you're going to say that Seb Fundora fought the ghost of Keith Thurman along with the coach. And this is what boxing fans do. And if I'm wrong, I'm happy to be wrong because I'm out here basically naked. You know what I'm saying? Proverbially naked. You guys are in my house. You're in my spare room, chilling, hanging out with me. What a great name this is. Keith Under 9 or Keith UD Belt to Ass Bob. What a great, love the name, bro. Did YouTube not just let you put belt to a money sign, money sign? Bum Equipment in the house. What's up, Johnny? In a crazy world, could we get Litter versus Zayas matchup? I think Xander Zayas in Top Rank, they want massive fights. I think in the next 48 hours, we're going to see it go official, Zayas versus Boots. I have my buddy in New York messaged me last night. He says that the fight's all but signed. Boots versus Zayas at 154. And we're going to see if we're going to see if Boots is legit. I think Boots is legit. I think Xander's still, the thing is, Boots is at his ceiling. Xander's still growing, man. He's young. 22. What's up with Gary making fun of him all the time, too, man? Does anybody ever call? I'm not in his. Do you guys ever call 3D boxing out for the derogatory comments he makes about a 22-year-old world champion? I texted him. I was like, bro, what are you? I was like, you do realize there aren't many of us online who do what we do. So people share our content. And like, you can't in one sentence talk about how you know a guy, and then in the next sentence say something derogatory about him. And I'm not going to repeat it. Just watch his live from yesterday. I'm like, gee, dude, what are you doing? He's 22, mate. He's a 22-year-old kid, world champion. Leave him alone. Haney not the same fighter anymore. The chin is gone. Well, thank God Jerome Warburton can't punch. Haney plus Thompson and Hutch for a Sunday morning parlay. See what happens. Let's go, boxing booth. New Zealand in the house, up the waz. What a fun squad they have. I love the rugby. I've been getting burned the first 3 weeks, but I still love the rugby. Tough fight for Keith. Hope he wins. Skeezy would be a good ending for him. I think if Keith wins, he's gonna see this. We should talk about this. If Keith wins, I think he unifies. Now maybe his story's not, and who knows? If he beats Seb, his story's obviously, his legacy's still to be written. If he unifies at 54, if he beats Seb, then unifies against Josh Kelly. I mean, now we're talking. Especially this late in his career. Can he do it? Does he have the physicality to do it? I don't think he does. I never really rated Keith. Like when in that era of welterweights, guys, who was the guy? In that era, who was the guy? Do I have to spell his name out? E.J. Errol Spence Jr. was the guy. I don't know why people forget that. Keith Thurman was never the guy. How could you never be the guy and be a Hall of Famer? He was never the guy. What are we talking about? EJ was the guy. For a decade, he was the guy. And then Bud came along. Big Dick Bud came along. Pause. I guess I might have used it. Bud just came out of nowhere, smacking dudes up at 35, smacking dudes up at 40, getting the 40, coming up to 47. But Keith never did any of that, man. Keith was never on my radar as a Hall of Famer. People are like, this style doesn't mesh well for Seb. I think it matches perfectly well. You're fighting a 5'8", 37-year-old who doesn't fight. You're basically fighting a 5'8", 37-year-old who doesn't box. How does that style not fit perfectly for a 6'6" slugging southpaw who's a world champion, who's aggressive? I don't understand, man. Please teach me, GK. Do you just not like Fundora? Or do you love, like, is this an emotional pick? Because I'm trying to be logical. Because if we're doing it logically, what is the logic behind taking Thurman to beat Fundora? Somebody teach me. What's the fight you're looking most forward to this weekend? Great question, Boxing Booth. The fight I'm looking most forward to this weekend, the fight that's stressing me out the most, is actually Elijah Garcia, Kevin Newman. I do want to see, I don't think Keith, are we not going to mention Keith Thurman does not deserve to be fighting for a world title? We're just not, yeah, we don't need to mention that. Yeah, he fought, you're right. Keith fought his whole career at 54. Keith's been super active, lost a couple close decisions. That draw, he should have been a champion with that draw. And he's just been, over the last 5-6 years, he's fought everybody. So it does make sense that Keith is finally getting his proper world title shot at 54 against Seb. No one said he should. How's he getting this fight? Seb is about to be like, yippee-yi-yo, yippee-yi-yo, wanna bump that body, baby, wanna bump that body, belt to ass, body. What are we talking about? I like the over. I think the fight goes a distance, man. I can't. Does anybody have tape on Kevin Newman's 3 losses? I can't find them anywhere on the internet. I've been trying to tape Kevin Newman, and shout out to Skills. Skills in our Discord. He's an MMA sharp. He's a boxer. He knows his shit. He knows all of his shit about boxing. He's boys with Newman. Sends me some footage, but I mean, I need to see Newman on the world level. I haven't seen him on the world level. I haven't seen Newman, what he looks like overcoming adversity. He's won 7 fights in a row. At 32 years old, this is his biggest fight. Elijah Garcia, though, boy. I think Elijah Garcia is that dude. You right, Haney better fire than before. He's not cutting a lot of weight now, so that chin is good. I think it's good. But Warburn's not a puncher. Warburn's not a puncher. He's a slow, methodical guy who has decent skill. We covered Warburton on the channel when he fought Kieran Conway. Look, Jerome Warburn's last fight, just so you guys know, I ain't bull. And for me to do a stats don't lie video on any fighter, you guys know I like him a little bit. You know what I mean? I like Jerome Warburton. I like his story. I know who he is. It's not like I'm just looking at odds and saying this sort of thing. I think this fight became in question because it's a 50-50 fight on paper. I know Jerome Warburton. I've covered him. I featured him. I gave him a whole 15 minutes on my channel when he fought Kieran Conway. And I picked Kieran to win based off of what you see when Jerome fights. Now, on paper, if you've never seen Jerome fight, and all you're doing is box wrecking it up, I call it, you're just box wrecking it up and you're looking at odds, then maybe. But you have to come at me with like, hey, Johnny, I did see the Conway fight. Or, hey, Johnny, I do know how Jerome Warburton fights. I do know his story. I know all of that, okay? He's 16-2-2. 2 knockouts of his 16 wins. He recently got stopped against Kieran Conway. He's the type of guy, every time he steps up, he loses. He's not a fast guy, doesn't punch hard, not durable, gets dropped to the body in multiple fights. Look who he fought last. His last opponent was Jordan Granin, who was 12-67. 12-167, his last opponent. 12-1. That was his last opponent. The opponent before that was his step up after he went on a win streak, and Kieran Conway stopped him in the 4th in a fight that was not even competitive. We just saw Kieran Conway get stopped against George Littard, and we just saw George Littard in there with Tyler Denny. This is what we do, guys. We watch all these fights. We know all these guys. Now, Nathan Haney, if we're going to talk about Warburton, here's what Haney's been up to. Haney has a win over Denzel Bentley, dude. Denzel Bentley's a guy that the boys in the UK are talking about, like Denzel Bentley's next. I mean, because Haney gets stopped once. This is another crazy... I feel like I'm kind of like having to be a teacher sometimes and reprimanding my class. How come as boxing fans, we just all of a sudden create a narrative? You get knocked out once, that boy ain't got no chin no more. He gets knocked, he has 1 loss, he got knocked out. All of a sudden, he doesn't have a chin anymore. Like, this is boxing, guys. He's 6'1". We last saw him fight a guy who was 19-13. He had the draw or the no contest. He got dropped against KT. He lost against Brad Pauls. He drew against Brad Pauls. The win against Denzel Bentley was 2.5 years ago. I'm not saying Nathan Haney is a world champion. I'm not even telling you to bet on this fight. You know, we're talking about club level British fighting now. I think if they're both here, I think Haney's just here. He's just a level above. And yeah, he probably wins it convincingly. So Kevin Newman's 34, not 32. This is what the Discord wouldn't answer my question. How come Kevin Newman hasn't gotten a shot yet? Like, nobody can answer me that. All the boys in the Discord are taking Newman. I'm like, I don't see it. What am I not seeing, Julius? Let's look at the odds, Kevin Newman. Guys, we are approaching an hour. We're floating between 90 and 110 in this live stream. Just give it a like. Join the Discord. Join the Patreon. Get all my picks. Become part of our community. Okay, so this is This is Elijah versus Newman. We'll look at the current odds, and then I'll pull the box strikes up. Like, Newman has 3 losses. He's 34 years old. He fights out of Vegas. He's linked up with Roy Jones Jr. as his coach. I can't find any of his losses on YouTube. It's like they're not there. He looks good hitting the speed bag. And right now, this is the money line. So everybody in my Discord is saying Kevin Newman is live. He's a plus 245. Let's check that box rec. (18-3), hasn't been stopped. 1 draw, 34 years old. He's a 6'1" Orthodox fighter. This fight is at 168 pounds. Elijah's moving up. Elijah's a 6-foot tall southpaw. Elijah's been in there with hands down the better opponents. The younger guy. I give Elijah the power advantage. I give him the experience advantage, even though he's a decade younger than this guy. There's just nothing. Like, I don't understand. So, are we just saying that this is an example of a guy slipping through the cracks? Because that's the answer I'm getting. Every now and then in boxing, you just have a guy who slipped through the cracks. I mean, I want somebody to come on and tell me how he beats him. Haney is in his late 30s. Haney looked horrible. Haney is 36. Warburton is 32. Yeah, Warburton's not good, though. Avoid that fight. Don't bet Haney Warburton then, boys. I'm not trying to tell you to bet these fights, guys. There better not be anybody in our squad that's trying to get up on the Warburton Haney fight. Yo, man, we about to try to get up out here, boy. No, we ain't getting up on that fight. We'll bet it. Quincy, Discord on fire, filled with great boxing insights from all over. Definitely an advantage. 100%. We're 100% an international group. There's boys in there who have to use the translator, like some guys from France, some guys, and you could tell who's using the translator because the text is a little bit too good. I thought you people, nah, Nathan Haney, not devinhaney. Nah, belt to ass. We talk, bro. If I've never seen you on our chat, we go over every fight. We are a boxing betting academy. So if you're new here, we welcome you. But this is a betting academy. We go over all of the fights in fight week, and then we bet on them, and we win money together. So unless Devin Haney is fighting, we're not talking about Devin Haney. And I think that's the difference with our channel and channels like ours is that we don't care about pop culture. We don't care. All we care about is fight week. Who is fighting? Let's dissect these fights. Let's watch film tape on them. Let's check the odds, and let's make money off of these fights. And that's what we do here. But obviously, when Devin fights, we cover him. I don't get the thought process with Franklin going rounds. He has no attributes, neither do I. He's also, I don't either, bro. People are like, Moses gonna get these rounds in against Franklin. I'm like, all right. I think Moses. This is, guys. When you look at the politics of boxing, the strategy of how, when we say the word politics, it's not just who the promoter is, who the matchmaker is, what the cut of the purse is, who the A side is. It's also how a promotional company moves a fighter. Why? What is the reasoning? What is the intention behind this matchup? When you have a potential prospect contender, future world titleist, world title contender, world champion, every matchup has to mean something, meaning that what is the intentions? Why is he fighting this guy? Why is Moses fighting Franklin? Because Franklin's never been stopped. That's why he's fighting Franklin. Just letting you know. And he went the distance with AJ. You're telling me Moses, this is British this is like a coming out party, like ordaining the next guy. We know about the British heavyweights over the last decade or so. Who's up next? You know what I'm saying? We know about Dubois, we know about Wardley, but Moses is in his early 20s. What do you think about Jai being stripped of his IBF? I'm fine with it. He knew about that. I like Zuffa. I like that we get to bet on the fights. I like the odds that we get. I like that we win money on Zuffa. It's not my job to judge belts and sanctioning bodies, IBF, WBC, WBO, WBO, and Zuffa. Let the promoters and matchmakers do all that. If a fighter gets stripped, I actually really don't care. Jai's a goddamn savage. Not many people putting their hand up to fight him. Shout out to Brandon Glant though for winning us plus 320 on the decision though. I don't. Yeah, you kind of knew he was going to get stripped. I think Hutchinson is a little more skilled than Ezra at the moment. I think he'll rely on his power and fight. Yeah, yeah. I got Willie on the money line right now at $1.70 or $1.53. I'm not getting this fight, man, but Endry Savidra is a motherfucker. Pardon my French. Endry Savidra, man, fought my boy Mateo Tapia. Mateo Tapia is a fighter who used to train out of Bondi Boxing Club when I used to manage a fighter out of that gym. So I watched Mateo Tapia come up. And he fights out of South Florida now. He used to be trained by Tony Del Vecchio. He fought Endry Savidra to a draw. Endry Savidra, man. I don't know what those odds are. I don't know who the favorite of the dog is, but my money would be on Endry Savidra. 100%. That dude's brutal. Where are you getting? Are you getting those odds, PJ? What are those odds? I'm leaning no distance on Hutchins Taylor. Taylor's defense looks basic. Yeah, Julius. If you're gonna go that route, are you going standalone? Is the 153 on the money line for Hutchins not saucy enough for you? Alex Murphy versus Josh Holmes. Holmes looks like the guy with the better tools. I haven't. What's up, David? I haven't gotten to this fight yet. I know the books have it close, and I know that's why you're asking, because unless David's a huge Alex Murphy guy. All right, let's do a rundown real quick. We're approaching an hour. We still have 90 savages in here. So shout out to the boys, 90 people an hour in. Please like the video, subscribe, join our JSB community. The link is pinned. I'm going to show you why David asked about Alex Murphy Holmes. Let's go over these odds real quick. Let me just remove that so you can see it. So I have Saggio on the money line on a parlay. I have Burchell on the money line on a parlay. So look at the odds with Alex Murphy, $1.71, Josh Holmes. I haven't taped him yet. I don't have a read. Look at Michael Gomez versus Jordan Flynn. Similar odds, 162, 245. We're talking about domestic Brits here, guys. We're talking about domestic Brits. And this is why we're seeing these odds. So they literally could go either way. I think I picked two. The two I picked out of here were Heaney and then Hutch. Heaney and Hutch. You got plus money. If you take Heaney and Hutch on the money line, you're in plus money. And that's all we could really ask for. There's a lot of these fights. You got Kaipo Gallegos fighting. He's a young kid. Is he even 20? He's young. Gurjan Havanashin's fighting again. This is another one no one's talking about. We covered Malik Montgomery against Joshua Pagan. Malik Montgomery is one of these guys in his step-up fight. Dude, he's crafty, dude. He's clean. He got a clean game. I think that was the fight where the ref did like a standing count in either the 9th or the 10th, and they gave Pagan a knockout because Pagan's one of these guys that is being pushed by Pro Box, and they want to increase his He has some game to him, but he didn't stop Malik, but they called it a stoppage. He's fighting Rene Guerin. If Malik Montgomery had a little bit more power, I'd be really tempted to take him here. I don't know how much Rene Guerin, over his last 5 fights, he's really had a mixed bag. Both of these guys need a win for their career. It's another one of these iffy fights, man. Luis Carlo Trujillo, what's up, brother? Ciao to you as well, man. Appreciate you. I have a nice unit bet for May 2nd. Benavidez money line. Anyway. Oh, yeah. Is that plus money? Benavidez and anyway on the money line. Oh, minus 130. Okay. Fit J in the house. I like it. It's really hard for me at this stage of the game in terms of legacies to bet against either one of those guys. I've always been an anyway sort of like fan. Full transparency, I wasn't a big David Benavidez guy until recently. I wasn't, and that's kind of, and you guys know that about me. It takes me a while to be convinced about a guy. I'm not one of these let's jump on the bandwagon, let's fuck it, this guy's the next thing. So, it wasn't until Benny moved up to to light heavyweight, and then just watching him put together things and watching how he seems, to me at least, he's put, has a family. It's kind of like he's made a commitment and a decision to have a Hall of Fame career. There's a lot to like about David Benavidez. I think he handles Zerto. Hutch definitely has the output. So, yeah, Hutch throws a lot more punches, man. He's gonna definitely be the more aggressive guy in there. I don't think that I don't think Ezra has the power. He doesn't have the punching power to kind of dictate this fight. That's what I see. A guy like Hutch needs to be domesticated. He's just kind of all over you a bit. He's not going to respect Ezra either. Ezra's going to have to get his respect with power. That's what I mean. I don't think he's going to have the pop to do it. Mr. 1K a day, we still good. Okay, I have to get back to you on the Brad Shaquille fight, but I'll get back to you, Quincy. I saw your message earlier. Darwin, I enjoy the banner. I'm never emotionally invested. We're going to find out for sure. Yeah. We're going to find out. Conlon. Oh, that fight was atrocious. I'll appease the comment, but yeah, I didn't even want to. We talked about it on Sunday. That fight was atrocious. It looked to me that, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but the only way I could make that make sense, the Kevin Walsh Conlon decision, was like, sometimes boxing forces fighters to retire. George Foreman, when George Foreman fought Let's Go Champ, Brownsville's own, Let's Go Champ, Shannon Briggs. When George Foreman fought Shannon Briggs, there was a similar sort of connotation to that the fight was, not that hard to score for George, but them giving it to Shannon was kind of like boxing, saying, hey, George, that's it. I kind of felt that was the same way with Conlon. I kind of felt like it was like, if Conlon doesn't look good or knocks this guy out, anything close on the cards we're going to give to Walsh. That's what it looked like to me. Look, Luis, I want to see Thurman win too. I always cheer for old heads. I'm an old head. You know what I mean? I'm never. This goes back to the MMA question earlier. I wasn't an Israel Adesanya fan. I don't like my fighter. Like, I don't want to get too political about it. So I wasn't an Israel Adesanya fan throughout his career. I wasn't, and because he's older now, though, and he's at the twilight of his career, and he's the old head, and he's going against the young upstart, I'm going for him. That's kind of how I roll. So I want to see Thurman win as well, but in this matchup, I don't see it happening. Maybe Keith. I think Keith hasn't worked in forever, big dog. He needs to get paid. He needs to get paid. I don't know if he's going to have the legs to survive 12 rounds with Fundora. It's a stressful style, guys. Like, we could talk about what Keith, like we could talk about their legacies, what they look like in their career, but the one thing you can't get past, like the one thing you have to admit, even I see online in the comments, for some reason people hate. I don't understand the hate people have for Seth Fundora. He seems like a perfect human. Speaks eloquently, educated, God-fearing man, family man, like disciplined, doesn't party, doesn't drink. It's like, dude, if you had a little son, you want him to cheer for this guy. That's Seth Fundora, right? But even if you disliked him for whatever reason, you have to admit that is a stressful optic style to prepare for at 154 pounds for anybody. 6'6", fucking volume puncher, hard hitting southpaw. I could see if he was just gonna chill back like Patrice Volney, or like a tall thin guy who's looking to just counterbox and just kind of stay at range. This dude is on his bike. This dude is like, nope, we're fighting in a fuck. How do you not cheer for that? Like, I don't. The boxing purists, he fights his fight IQ. It's like, bitch, this is boxing. I want to see this dude fight. Every time Fundora fights, I want to see him fight. What, could he get chinned? Yes. Keith can punch. Keith has a puncher's chance, 100%. Keith definitely has a puncher's chance early. But that length, that jab, that volume, if Keith doesn't get him out of there early, his best shot is early. So if you're going for Keith, I would take Keith under like 1 through 6 knockout. If you're going for Keith, because we have to talk about path to victories. He has a path to victory. Get on the inside, be slick, turn back the clock, look great, have your legs under you, and land your back end. Land your lead hook as well. He has a great lead hook. Well, that's a lot. That's saying a lot. That's saying a lot. People sleep on Craig Richards, man. This is what I'm talking about. Heaney beat Craig Richards only 2 years ago. Craig Richards is crafty, dude. We watched the fight in Africa against Dan Azim. I'm talking about this comment. Craig Richards knows how to survive as a dog. Mark Jeffers stopped him. Dude, we're talking about, didn't Nathan Heaney beat Craig Richards? No, he beat Denzel Bentley. All these Brits I get mixed up. Hutchinson beat Craig Richards. And Hutchinson beat Craig Richards in 2023, 2024. Craig Richards, 36 years old now. We just saw him fight in Africa against Azim. Look good. It's a good win. It's a decent win. I remember people were saying he could get in the Hall of Fame. I know. People, dude, Mike, people are saying that this week. Go on YouTube. People are acting like Keith Thurman's a Hall of Famer, boy. That's crazy. Okay, wow. Top dog. Did you see my bet slip? Where'd you put it at? Tag me in it. Yes, Fundora's getting better each fight. I agree. Guys, we're over an hour. There's 100 of you savages still in here. Should I just keep... I have a client. I'll just keep going. I'm going to catch up to all the comments. I'll keep going. We got some Stats Don't Lie videos popping soon. The Fundora Thurman Stats Don't Lie. We got Elijah Garcia versus Kevin Newman Stats Don't Lie. I probably should do a British Stats Don't Lie. I need a... Which one would... I probably should do Hutchinson, Ezra Taylor. Fundora can move up to 160. Man, he's what, 28, 29 years old now? He must have just an extremely, obviously, rapid... it's hard for him to put muscle on. You know what I mean? If he was a guy who was able to put muscle on at 6'6", we'd be looking at a guy who'd be a champion at 54, 60. Adamas just moved up today, by the way. So 160 is a barren wasteland. Adamas just moved up to 168. So, Fundora at 6'6" with his frame, if he were able to put weight on, we could see him a champ at 54, 60, 68. Maybe he would cap out. I think he's probably would cap out. We'll see. Maybe his body will change. You never know. He doesn't see. I've never seen him have any body fat on him. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he's one of these guys who cuts a lot of weight. But 160, Janabek is stripped for doing the boy. Janabek got caught. These cats are crazy, boy. These cats out here getting caught juicing. Alam Hunale. Remember he was the boogeyman? No one wanted to fight Janabek Alabhunale. He's there. Are we ever going to see Aaron McKenna fight again? I want to see Aaron McKenna fight again. We haven't. He fought. Last time we saw him fight was beefy. That seemed like forever ago. Thomas faster, stronger, more skilled, younger. Can Franklin turn the fight into a hug and grab? I don't know if Atama would let him do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if Atama would allow the hug and grab. You kind of have to adhere to it. You know what I mean? It's almost like during the Klitschko era, it was almost like a lot of times Klitschko's opponents would just adhere to it. They would be cool with just eating a jab and just being hugged. That jab and grab style, dude. Oh, that shit was bad for boxing. Top Dog. Tag me in it. Did you see my bet slip from the weekend? In the Discord, just at my name, and I'll have a look. I got a lot of people tagging me, Top Dog. If you hit, we up. Adamas, Lester, Marksman. Did you hit that? Beast mode. Damn, good looking on the Lester. I got honey dicked into taking Lester by knockout. That's a chat I had on the chat I talked about yesterday. Is Lester Martinez... I don't know where I stand with him. I don't think he could punch, which sounds crazy. I think Lester Martinez's power was oversold to us when you look at his resume. And I think he needs to probably get his conditioning in order. He's a 5'8" super middleweight. He'd be like, there's no reason Lester couldn't make 160. I want to see Lester get in shape, get a six-pack, drop down to 160. Also, his punch selection is very limited. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm being too harsh. Is Lester Martinez who everyone thinks he is? I don't know. Elijah on point. Yeah, but some people are... John Magana, the boys in our Discord are saying no. The boys in our Discord are saying Newman's beating him. I don't see it. I like Elijah. Crawford said Keith is a man 47. You know why? Come on, Emma. That's called boxing posturing. You know why he said that? Come on. That's chess. It worked out for Bud, too. Franklin's game is ugly. Franklin will try to nullify Utama's offense. I think I might get a mocha. Do you guys drink coffee? I have a coffee mate. I'm old school. I buy coffee beans like in the bag, and then I have a grinder. And then I take the grinds and I put in this other thing, and it makes me like... I drink coffee when I wake up at 5 a.m. as a supplement. But every now and then, because don't let this body fool you. I'm a fat kid. I love sugar and I love chocolate. I might go get a mocha. Big Dick Bud, baby. 3D said Keith is all of 3D smoking dope, dude. Keith is not a Hall of Famer. I think people might expect Fundora to go into this fight too. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't think Sebastian Fundora does not cross me as a guy who would take anyone lightly. Keith got a major slug of those last stoppage. Bro, he fought a lightweight, mate. He fought a lightweight. Johnny, up today, right or wrong? I like a lot. Thanks, man. Look, no, we're never going to be 100% right. The one thing that you'll know with me, though, is I'm always going to drop... at least I'm going to have my reasoning. I'm not just going to take an odds play. The logic is that he was way more skilled than the guys who had success against him, like Mendoza and Zhu. Watch those training videos of Thurman hitting the bag tied up to the ceiling. I don't know, man. Like, you guys are going to call me a hater with what I'm about to say. Let me show you something. You guys are going to call me a hater, but I'm going to live with it. You know, maybe I am a hater. I'm going to live with it. Two rebounds. This hits the bag. 1, 2. This is not boxing. Single fist here. Hear that beat? I don't give a shit. Hitting the speed bag This dude, that's not boxing. I never. This is why I'm struggling with Kevin Newman. Because all I can find Kevin Newman is hitting the bag. Anybody could look good hitting the bag, man. The bag isn't moving. The bag isn't 6'6". It's not boxing. I know guys that who don't use the speed bag. This isn't boxing. What's it? This. And then I know the video. Thurman throwing that over. I don't care about that. Is the fight gonna start and they start there? All right, guys, round one, clinch up. I don't know, man. Now you know you done fucked up, right? I love the this is a Menace to Society. This is a Menace to Society reference, isn't it? This is when they're getting questioned about the corner store shooting. Now, Johnny, you see that? You done fucked up, right? Oh, we got some super chats in the house. Oh, King Kevin Walsh. Did you take King Kevin? You did, bum equipment, you savage. I wish I would have known what it felt like to be on the other end of that decision. That was the only. I lost 2 fights last weekend in boxing. Abisail Koto, who is a 10-1 favorite in his homecoming in a featured card, gets starched. He was $1.07. That was a bad read. Did anybody bet Abisail Koto to get knocked out? And then the other one was Mick Conlon. But I would have loved to know what it felt like to be on the Kevin Walsh side, to have my ticket that said Kevin Walsh money line, and then you watch, and then you sit through that what we saw, and then you hear the name, you'd be like, "We up!" That'd be a great celebration. So congrats, thank you for the super chat. I'm trying to not be biased. I saw Fundora fight early in his career on Tyson. He did not look good, brother. This is what I mean. This is. It's almost like it's. This is why it's difficult to do what we do, because it's hard not to be biased, man. It's hard to forget what we've seen when we watch all the fights, but it's important to understand what have you done for me lately. That's kind of my motto when I'm picking winners and when I'm picking outcomes. I have to ask myself, what has this guy look like in this frame? Not in this frame, but in that frame. What have you done for me lately? Usually it's a 2-fight frame for me. Well, Keith Thurman, if it was a 2-fight frame, that's a 7-year frame. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Brian Mendoza, the man who knocked out Fundora, has way less experience, and I would say similar power to Thurman, judging by his last brutal knockout, and skill-wise, nowhere near the same caliber as Mendoza. Do you think Mendoza beats Yenis Tejas? We got Top Dog with the super chat. Thank you, Top Dog. You see my bet slip from the past weekend? Where am I supposed to see it at, Top Dog? What am I in the Discord? I'll see it. I'll share it too. I'll do all of it. Trust me. I got your back. Something about Shaquille Thompson. Am I overlooking this fight, PJ? Something about Shaquille Thompson just don't sit right with me. I watched the tape. I haven't taped it yet, so give me time. The girls, the ladies, the ladies. My girlfriend always says, "What about the girls?" I got your back. My girlfriend Chrissy, she heard me say something about the gents. She was like, "What about the girls?" I got you right. No, for sure. Thank you for calling me out on that. My mom. What would my mom say? Rosie, my mama, best friend. I think Brad gets hit. I gotta watch more tape. I don't have any of them. DraftKings. Yeah. Andre Savidra is the dog. I like Savidra in that. I'm not getting that fight. Have you seen Ezra Taylor fight? You've seen Too Confident Hutchinson. He doesn't have the best cardio when Ezra does. I just watched Ezra's last 2 fights. What I don't like about Ezra Taylor, though, is sort of like the mistakes he makes and his lack of punching power. And I think that the pace and the trajectory, the pace of how Hutchinson, he does fade. He's kind of like, look, I'm not putting $1,000 on this fight, Mike. Are you taking Ezra? Let's just get to the nitty gritty. This is what we like here. Insider information. Brad Paul didn't want this fight. I've spoken with Shaquille, and Brad turned this fight down a year ago. Also did Tyler Denny. Brad was offered big money to accept this fight. So you're saying Brad Paul doesn't want this fight? The chat is popping. You guys are savages. Oh, my God. I put my slip on the community page. Oh, I didn't know you could do that. Let me have a look. I didn't even know you could do that, Toya. Did you guys know you could post on my YouTube channel? I didn't know that. Community page. 5 hours ago. Toya. Oh, damn. You hit. That's like a 10-1. Very cool. You the man, Johnny. You did tag me. Thank you. I'm going to share that on our Instagram story. How cool is that? I didn't even know you could post there, so now I know. Thank you for that. Guys, I'm going to wrap it up.